Welcome, welcome. Hello, everybody. I am so grateful and excited about today and what is going to happen. This is an exciting time, and we are glad that you took the time out to join us today. So welcome, everybody. Welcome all the friendly faces. We just thank you for showing up on today. This is a beautiful day. So welcome to the Faith and Success Virtual Conference. This is our first conference here for 2022 for the Faith and Success, and we are excited. Welcome, everybody. So as we get started here, I am going to ask for the slide to change as we begin. So again, welcome to the 2022 Faith and Success Virtual Conference. Dr. Favor and I have been in this business for a long time. And here you see him as an international speaker, speaking to hundreds and even thousands of people. He is a mighty speaker, pastor, business entrepreneur, author, successful author, and doing great things. My name is Pastor Diedra Favors, and I am over the Women's International portion. And here we have one of Pastor Favors' books. I'm sorry, that's not Pastor Favors' books. Yes, 7 Principles of Favor. This is one of his first books, and as you see here, he is here signing everything. But Pastor Favors is also a certified student, teacher, learner from John Maxwell. So this is a portion of him. Here you see before you is all the businesses that we are involved in. We Care, Eli, the Essential Leaders Institute, Success Club, Amazon. We have so much going on, and we're here to share a lot of that information with you. We are not rookies to all of this. We are experienced, and this information, it shall be valuable to you. So before we get started, we do have our facts portion and the overview of what's going on. This workshop is broken up into 2 parts with 2 essential per part on skill set. Part 1 is the foundational frequency. Section 1 is the mindset frequency. Section 2 is the faith frequency. Part 2 is the success frequency. Section 3, the value of mentorship. Section 4, decode and commit. So there you have the agenda that we're going to follow on this morning. So again, we thank you for coming and we welcome you. And now I will present to some, introduce to others, our very own Dr. Michael L. Favors.
All right, well, good morning, good morning. Thank you so much, Lady Favors. As you all are pleased, this is something we're working with new technology. We're trying to really be able to bring the information to you all on a different platform. So this is one of the first of many. We will get things together, but I do have to ask you a couple of questions. Can you all hear me clearly?
Yes.
If I can get a thumbs up.
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's good because it's different when you're streaming on other platforms. So those of you who are on YouTube, if someone can just put a thumbs up in the chat, say we can hear you, just talk to me, let me know. I'd really appreciate that. The next thing is, as we move through the piece, you all, sometimes we'll be going out of the main slide and you'll be able to see things. But once again, we're working on things. So pay attention to some of the things that we have going on, that if it's your expertise of technology and you can help us make this experience better, I would really appreciate that, okay? So as we get started, let us do this. Father God, we bless you, we honor you, we thank you right now for this opportunity to share with your people. Pray that something is said that is impactful, insightful, something that will let the people know that you are here for them. So speak through me. Let us have a blessed, awesome Saturday morning. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, the next question is, on your screen, I need to know, is, do you see a drop-down menu of everyone, or do you just see me and the presentation slide? I need to know, what do you see? I believe you just see me in the little picture in the corner. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. A thumbs up on that, because I can't hear you. So the way we have it set up, I have to have everything on mute on my end. But as long as you can hear me clearly and you articulate, I see some thumbs up. That's going to be amazing for our YouTube community. So with that being said, you all, we have an amazing piece here for you today. I want to thank all of you all for being here on Zoom, you all who's here on YouTube, and let's get started. So first part is success ambassador Favor said, is that we're dealing with a foundational frequency of success. And I want you to understand this, that success is the positive or progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And so you're going to see this slide throughout the day, because we believe in the power of repetition. I want you to take a screenshot of this. I want you to write this down. But the success you're looking for is literally going to happen during the process of your growing, because growing is a constant repetition of motion. I'm gonna say that one more time. It's very important that you understand that your success, the level of success where you want to get to, whatever level of success that you're desiring, it's going to happen during a process. So oftentimes people want it fast, we want it quick, but I need you to understand today that it's going to come during the process. So if you forsake the process, if you try to sidestep the process, you're going to miss valuable information that is pertinent to your growth, okay? So embrace the process today. Embrace what we're going to say. Be willing to take your notes. Be willing to just follow instructions, and I guarantee you're going to get something out of this piece. So here it is, you all. Success is 95% mindset and 5% strategy. Success is 95% mindset. And I want you to take a minute to think about that. If success is mindset, that means we have to operate from higher faculties like imagining, daydreaming, visioneering, because you want to see things in your mind. My old mentors used to say, if you can see it, if you can think it, you can conceive it. It has to start in the mind, you all. And so if you don't start in the mind, if you can't see it before it happens, if you can't see yourself in the winner's circle, then you won't get there, because the 5% is what Favors and I are here to help you. Our team is here to help you all get the strategy. But if you come to us and all you have is a goal, but you haven't thought it through, it's not well defined, then it's going to be hard for us to help put a strategy together for you. And that's what's most important. So 95% mindset, 5% strategy. Now, as we engage today, it's going to be a little different, because some of you all probably thought we were going to be preaching and things of that nature. And although I am a bishop, I am an apostle, today we're going to be dealing with strictly success and how faith affects your success. So without faith, I do want to say that success is unattainable. You will not succeed if you do not have faith in your dreams, faith in your goals, faith in yourself. Because I want you to understand, please hear this, faith, you all, encompasses a multitude of characteristics. Success encompasses a multitude of characteristics. Some like fortitude, persistence, mental stamina, grit, watch this, sticking it out during tough times. You got to have skill sets mastered like confidence, conviction, and certainty when you're talking about being able to get to levels of success. And all of these words, you all, come through your ability to believe in yourself, to have a type of courage, a type of tenacity, even fearlessness when in some situations. You got to be bold and resoluteness and have guts if you really want to get to that level, because at the end of the day, if you don't have faith, which gives you a certain level of resolve, toughness, and willpower, you won't get to the levels of success that you want to get to. So faith in this case, you all, it means you never quit on your dreams, never quit on your goals. The pursuit of your main purpose in life Have faith in that. You never quit on that. So those who have faith in their dreams, goals, and the main purpose in their life, you all, those are the ones who do not allow anything to get in their way. Nothing is going to be able to stop you from achieving your goals and your dreams if you put a level of faith on it. Now, faith enables you to overcome every obstacle in your path because you realize that they are not really obstacles, they are setups for opportunities. You all have to catch the replay to get that one. But I want you to understand that faith is a very important ingredient to your success. So if you're taking notes and you want to write something down, simply write this: I have faith in my success. I want you to repeat that and say that over and over again, 100 times a day if you have to. You have to convince yourself. Some of us have to almost even trick ourselves to become successful because we can't see it in our mind just how successful you're supposed to be. So with that being said, let's enter into session 1, the frequency of the mindset shift, you all. Now, in the book, Think and Grow Rich, which is one of the books that I believe that you ought to have in your library. If you do not have this book in your library, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, I strongly suggest that you get you a copy soon as possible. Now, in that book, he talks about this thought here, or this statement: thoughts are things. Now let's look at this. Thoughts are things. The definition of thoughts, you all, according to the Oxford and the Merriam-Webster, says that thoughts is the process of thinking. Okay. If you understand the process of thinking, once again, you're going to hear this word. Process means to start, go through, beginning to end. The whole thing makes or builds a process. You got to have a process. So if you think about the process of thinking, then we have to look at the word to think. What does the word think mean? To think, ladies and gentlemen, is to have an opinion, a belief, or an idea about someone or something. Once again, to have an opinion, which means now let's break this down. Let's take this through the scientific methodology. To thought means to think. So the process of thinking gives me an opinion. The process of thinking gives you an opinion. The process of thinking gives you an opinion. Therefore, you form a belief or an idea. Y'all, please stay with me. It's getting ready to get good already. So this whole process of thinking gives me an opinion, which forms my belief, which gives me an idea about someone or something. Now, when you talk about thoughts are things, the process of formulating opinions, beliefs, or ideas, you all, manifests the thing. So then thing is an object, the one or that one need not, cannot, or does not wish to give a specific name to. So I need you to understand the process of thinking. You form an opinion about what you're thinking about, then you develop a belief, and that's when the idea comes to mind. So then the idea that comes to mind, you all, transforms into a picture, and there you have the thing. What's most interesting is when it becomes a creative thought. Think about it. When something new is being created, oftentimes it doesn't have a name yet. So in order for you to be successful in any undertaking, you have to have thoughts, which ultimately means to think. And this is the problem with many people when they become stagnant, when you become complacent and you start to hit that terror barrier, or you start to hit that proverbial ceiling and you can't seem to launch through or break your way through. I would like to suggest to you that maybe you stopped thinking. Maybe you forgot about the thought process or even didn't know about the thought process. What I am saying to you though, if you really want to become successful, you have to embrace the notion that thoughts are things. Thoughts transmit or transmutate into things. And this is how we get into some of the other teachings and things about law of attraction and law of vibration and all of those things that we'll be teaching you inside of the Success Club. And so that's what we'll save that for. So now, there are 3 skills that you must master if you want to be successful. Let me repeat that. There are three skills, three basic skills among many, but these are the three foundational skills. Remember, we're in the foundational frequency. This is part one, session one mindset. So there are three things that you have to master, you all. Three things. Let's get to it. First thing is definiteness of purpose. So what is this whole notion about purpose and to be definitive about it? I combine the two definitions so that it might become easier to you. Definite and purpose. When they meet, to be definite means to have something that is clearly defined. Purpose is or speaks to your motive and or intention of why you want to do something. So I need you to understand. To have a definiteness of purpose means to have a clearly defined motive and or intention, which simply means now we have to do what? We got to go back through that process to say that thoughts are things, ladies and gentlemen, because if thoughts are things, the more we think about it, we have this process, the more we begin to develop the opinion and the idea comes, then the thing that we want to do comes to mind. Now, when it comes to mind, you then have to begin the process over again and begin to think about that so that it can become clear. So therefore, your purpose is clear. So then when we talk about having a clearly defined motive, a clearly defined intention of why you want to do what you want to do, we cannot go to God, or if your universe, or however you present it, you cannot go to the infinite intelligence, is what the book tells us, and ask for something and not have a clearly defined motive. That's like saying, you know what, I want to be rich just to be rich. Why? You have to understand, you all, that money has to be courted. You don't chase money. You court money and it comes to you. But if you don't have a reason, if you don't give it a clearly defined motive, if you don't court money, if you don't treat it with respect, it will evade you. It will run from you. I know it sounds funny, but we're talking about success, you all. And so your definiteness of purpose. Why are you doing what you're here? Why are you here this morning? There's something that you want, another level, something more expressive, whatever that may be. Write it down and think about it. Take it through this scientific system that I just did with you of how we really break things down. See, let me pause for a moment and tell you something about books like this. You don't read books like this, ladies and gentlemen. You study these books. And one of my mentors, and I'll talk about him a little later in depth, but Mr. John Maxwell used to always tell us that leaders are readers because readers are thinkers. I really didn't understand what that whole statement meant until I started to study. That means I can take one paragraph, one sentence, one line, and put it through that scientific method of thought process and come up with some brilliant ideas. Hey, I would like to suggest that you can do the same, but it's going to cause for you to have a mindset shift. You're going to have to really dig deep and start to sit down and carve out some time so that you can clearly define things that you want in life, because there's a reason behind everything that we do. So that's the first skill set, you all. Definiteness of purpose, clearly defined motive or intention. You have to know why you're doing what you want to do. The second skill set that we have to talk about is the capacity for persistence. Persistence is a firm or obstinate continuance in a course of action in spite of difficulty or opposition. Now, once again, when you study some things, time is not a factor. I just felt the need to tell someone that. Time can't be a factor because you will rush through the process. Consider a caterpillar going into a cocoon that has to go through this whole process to become a butterfly. If you break that butterfly out of that cocoon, you ruin its process of growth. Therefore, it will never develop the strength in the wings to fly. You almost certainly dictate the outcome of its survival. So when you talk about persistence in that analogy, persistence is a firm or obstinate continuance. That simply means, you all, we have to continue with something no matter what the circumstances. This is when you get into, and once again, we're going to teach you this, those of you who decide about the Success Club, and I'll share more about that later. But I want you to understand that to develop this skill set of bulldog-like mentality, you know, where you set your mind on something and you continue through the process, you do not give up, you do not falter or waver, you don't go to the left or to the right, you have laser sharp focus, ladies and gentlemen, because you got to continue in on this course of action, the one that you thought about, that you put through the thought process, the one that you developed an opinion and an idea about, whether it's a new house, a new car, whether it's traveling once a month on vacation, whatever it is that you want to do. If you want to start a new business, you want to build a new business, we oversee several LLCs and S Corp companies, you all. So we're speaking from experience. We know what it takes to be persistent to achieve that goal, that level, that higher level of success. So we got to learn how to persist. We have to continue in the course of action. Now notice it said action, sitting down on your couch, flicking through remote control, watching people on TikTok, Instagram, live their lives, on YouTube, live their lives, and you're watching them live their life, hoping and wishing. You all, that is not how you get to that next level of success. Persistence and success go hand in hand like faith and works. You got to have action. This is why we believe in the empowerment of individuals, and we show them, mentor and coach them how to put action to these dreams and visions and goals. Now watch, in spite of difficulty, now that lends itself to think, ladies and gentlemen, that some things in life is going to be hard. I remember a few years ago, one of my mentors told me that sometimes opportunity is wrapped up in opposition. Simply means the opportunity that you seek may not come wrapped in a nice gift box. It may show up in terms of a problem that needs to be solved. Now, if you're savvy enough, if you got enough thought power to go through the process of thinking that you can develop the opinion, get the idea, put action to it, develop a definiteness of purpose that is clearly defined, then you may just crack the code. I'm telling you, I believe you can, but you have to have persistence in spite of all difficulty or opposition. So the question then that you want to ask yourself, am I ready to defy all the odds? Am I ready to challenge the naysayers? Am I ready to do whatever it takes? Plan A, no plan Bs, all or nothing, to get to that next level of success. That's the mentality of persistence. That's what persistence is to us. And that's what I'm saying you want to be able to do. Now, that's the second skill set that you have to master, you all. And I mean master. So how much time do I have? I got about 7 minutes before we have to go to Q&A. See, we got a whole day planned for you all. So let me get to it. The next skill set that you have to master, you all, and I'm going to take my time on this, is this notion of a burning desire. Now let's look at this. This is a compound word. There's many words you will learn today, but it's compounded for the sake of developing yourself and the skills necessary for success. So burning desire is a very hot and intense feeling. That is the definition for burning, to burn. To burn means something is very hot. It's very intense. It's on fire. So to have a very intense feeling, emotion of wanting to have something or wishing for something to happen. You see, now, when we talk about having a burning desire, and you understand that thoughts are things. Watch the science now. If I'm thinking about something and I have thoughts and I develop thinking power, opinion, beliefs, and I develop the idea and I put that object to motion, I develop the idea in my mind and it becomes manifest in terms of a goal or a dream. And then I take these 3 skill sets, I make it definite, give it a clear purpose. I become persistent at trying to achieve that which I'm called to do. It then becomes a burning desire, you all. Let me help somebody. When you think about something and you meditate on something and you let it get to the point to where you put your emotions into it. See, a lot of things you wish and hope for, if you dream and you don't add emotions to it, an intense emotion, it will not come to pass because, hey, that's just like saying, you know what, I want it all, but don't want to do anything. That's like saying I want to have $1 million, but I have a $10 work ethic. You've got to put some emotion behind this, you all, some intention. And like I say, I can go very deep, but because of the sake of the platform and how we are, you all, I want to keep it somewhere around here so that I don't lose anyone. But I want you to understand that when your burning desire for that dream, for that goal becomes so hot, that is an intense feeling. Let me tell you something. When we planted the first nonprofit in 2009, there were people coming out to us, giving us, helping us, partnering with us. And I would ask them, because I'm a student, I'm a lifelong student. And I said, what made you all, other theologians, other nonprofit, other thought leaders, what made you all want to come out here to this little old place? And they said, first of all, you had energy. I said, energy? They said you had an intense about you. Every time you talked about what you were doing, man, you were so on fire that we had to come see. And once we came out here, it was something that we wanted to be a part of. Ladies and gentlemen, everything I do, I try to do with that level of intention. When we're teaching people how to trade, Forex, teaching people about real estate, leadership, whatever, all things that we do, I try to have that same level of intensity and fire. And you can really call it passion. Think about it. Purpose without passion will never get your business off the runway. There are investors, there are people who we call them angel investors, and they're waiting for someone like you with a brilliant idea that they can put some money behind it. But you got to have a burning desire. If you're going to give a 60-second elevator pitch, you can give it. But the one who gives that pitch with emotion and fervor and zeal, they're going to get the deal. So consider that. The burning desire is a very hot and intense feeling of wanting to have something. Now, I want to ask you right now, because this is an example of the type of coaching that we offer. And good coaches know how to ask the right questions that make you think. I want you to take about 30 seconds and just write down, what is it that you want? What are some of your wants and your desires? Just 30 seconds, just whatever comes to mind first, whatever it may be. Some of you, I'm in Florida, I want a jet ski, I want a boat. Hey, I live up north and it's getting cold. I want to go up to the mountains and go skiing. Just write it down, whatever you want. I want some better relationships. I want to meet some new people. I want to travel, whatever it may be. Just write it down. Write it down. I need to make some extra money. I want to increase my bottom line. Write it down. Do you have it? You have it written? Some things you want to happen, write it down. Wishing for a better life, wishing for more time, just write it down. Do you have it? Now, what if I told you that I could help you get that? What if I told you that the only reason why you can't make let me tell you something. One of my mentors, when we first connected over 10 years ago, he asked me, what is your yearly income? And I said, oh man, you're just trying to ask me that question so you can upcharge me with a program. He said, no. I want to show you something. What is your income? So I gave him a number and everything. You know, obviously he knew it wasn't the right number, but I was being a little skeptical. So he said, okay, well, do you realize, so let's say, for example, I said $60,000 a year. He said, Favors, the only reason you're making $60,000 a year is because you're not aware of how to make $60,000 a month. I said, wait a minute. I said, whoa, wait a minute now. $60K a month? He said, Favors, what you have to do is, first of all, be willing to accept something that may be beyond your scope and capacity at this time. Now, the reason why I asked you, you thought I was just trying to ask you numbers. I'm a millionaire. I make millions. So that 60,000 can't help me. But what it did show me is where you are in terms of your belief system and your burning desire. Did y'all hear this? So I said 60 a month. Okay, you got me. Now, what did he do with that sentence, y'all? He got me thinking. Now, what if I told you that whatever it is that you want, whatever you're wishing for, whatever you're desiring, that I can show you literally how to pull that off and get that to come to pass consistently. Remember, I'm Mr. Consistent. Consistency is the key. Hey, what if I told you that there's a way to get that to happen quickly? Does your mindset first say that's impossible? Or does it say, I'm intrigued. It's worth me investigating. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you one thing. One sound idea is all you need to change your life. One sound idea. Now, there's an excerpt that I want to read for you because I want you to understand something. Once again, some of the things that we teach and that we've learned, we got other products, but like I said this before you all, so I'm giving you all some tools. If you want to read this book, this is an excerpt. And one of the excerpts from this book, I'm just going to read it for you, says that my service as a member of Congress have been given many insights to problems with men and women. I am writing to offer a suggestion which may become helpful to thousands of worthy people. In 1922, you delivered the commencement address at Salem College when I was a member of the graduating class. In that address, you planted in my mind an idea, listen to the thought process, you all, which has been responsible for the opportunity I have now to serve the people of my state. And will be responsible in a very large measure for whatever success I may have in the future. I recall as though it were yesterday, the marvelous description you gave of the method by which Henry Ford, by little schooling, without a dollar, with no influential friends, rose to great heights. Does that sound like anybody you know? I made up my mind then, even before you had finished your speech, that I would make a place for myself no matter how many difficulties I had to surmount. Ladies and gentlemen, you can get the book, you can read it for yourself, take a screenshot, but I need you to understand the frequency of the mindset shift is a made-up mind. I need you to write that, put that in the chat. I need you all on YouTube. If you are with me, you all, and you're getting something so far, put up some 777 for completion. You all come on for perfection. Put that up because I need you all to understand the power of a made-up mind. When you make up your mind, this individual in this particular story went on to become a state senator and an executive in the airlines in that year, around that time frame. Now, what I want you all to understand is that a made up mind, it begins the whole process of the mindset shift. When you make up your mind that you're going to get to the next level, that you're going to do it without anything. Hey, I'm a hip hop guy, my generation. And there's a particular guy out here called 50 who says, you know what, I'm going to get rich or die trying. That was a made up mind. Now, it may not fit your context to where you are, but look at the tenacity. Look at the mindset. Look at what had to happen for an individual who grew up in poverty-stricken area. Say, you know what? I got to change my trajectory and my outcome for not only me, but for my family. You want to have a made-up mind, ladies and gentlemen, because when you make up your mind that you're going to set your mind, set your goal, that you're going to do it. Thousands of people in America today who would like to know how to convert ideas into money. That's why we're here. People need to know how to start from scratch when it comes to finances and when it comes to recouping losses. That's where we come in at, you all. I've had to do these things all of my life. My wife has had several ups and downs, and we've had to start over from scratch. Shucks, we moved from one state to another state, having known anybody, because we received an idea that says something is going to be better for you. And we packed up and left. And I declare, I'm gonna tell you now, it is an awesome ride that we're still riding right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, a mindset shift is a made up mind. Now, I believe I'm maybe 5 minutes over because we wanted to have the set where we have Q&A. So at this point in time, I'm going to ask Lady Favors, if you're ready, or Dr. Favors, you can come on and let's have Q&A.
All right. That was awesome. Awesome, Dr. Favors. That was some information, and I'm going to say revelation, and just getting an understanding that this makes all the difference if the people can just grasp that. So before I go any further, I done took some notes. Did y'all take some notes? We need to know who has a question.
Yeah, those of you who are on YouTube in the chat, just ask some questions. I can see your questions right here, and we'll go for that. And if they type some right there, Favors, if we can ask them to go into the chat. Can you check the chat and see if they type in questions? That might be a better way to do it than asking people to come off mute.
Okay, all right.
If they can type their questions in the chat.
All right, if you have any questions, anybody, please type it in the chat. So, okay, go ahead.
Good morning, Dr. Favors. How you doing? I have a question. You were talking about persistence and gave the definition. How does persistence play a major part with our habits, and how does that go hand in hand? Could you break that down for us a little bit, please, if that's possible?
Yeah, now that's one of the things that we'll have to work out because of the time constraint. But are you in the chat? Are you seeing any questions?
There is nothing in the chat as of, oh, there's one. How to keep your burning desire. So that's a question. How to keep your burning desire, keep the flame from going out.
Okay, now that's a great question. How do you keep your flame from going out, keep the burning desire? So one of the things, okay, we got two questions. One just came in from YouTube as well. So first, how do you keep your burning desire? That is one of the things that goes with the ability for, or the skill set of mastery and persistence. Okay, see, so when you talk about a burning desire, I want you to consider yourself camping, and you're camping up north in a place where it's 20 degrees, 30 degrees. And so if that fire goes out, you freeze to death. So when you talk about having a burning desire and a burning fire, you have to keep that fire lit as bad as you want to live. I need you to understand what I just said. If that fire goes out and you're in a place like Alaska and temperature drops below freezing and you need that fire, you're going to do whatever you have to do to keep that fire lit, right? So when it comes to a level of success, you want to have your fire burning so hot, so bright, to the point to where as you want to live. So that means you become persistent. You have a clear, definite purpose. And here it is, this is the power of repetition. And of course, these are some of the things that we're going to show you, because a lot of people, you can tell them, and I can say that same thing to them, and they say, you know what, but I still don't know how to do it. I need more. That is the reason why we have mentorship. That's the reason why we have coaching. Okay, and then, so hopefully that answered that question. Another question that came in through the chat or through the YouTube.
Through YouTube, I missed the name of the book.
The name of the first book that we used was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. If you do not, you can probably get it's a free domain piece. As you see, I've been reading this book since 2012. So I've been literally studying this book for that long. Okay, Favor, do we have another question?
We do. We have another question, which is, once you know the desire and it's big, how do you keep from being overwhelmed?
Once you know the desire and it's big, how do you keep from being overwhelmed?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to answer that question. I think in one of the sessions I may touch on that question, but for the sake of right now, how do you stop from being overwhelmed? So here it is. It all has to do with the mindset shift. When I set my mind to it, and I think about it, and we'll teach you how to do this, what happens is you learn how to break it up where it's sizable. It's doable. No one eats a cow all at one time. We butcher that cow. We break that cow up into pieces. I remember when we went to a restaurant and one of the butchers taught us about the why lamb meat tastes different. The lower on the body the cut, the different the taste will be. The higher, the richer the taste will be. I never knew that. So, but again, you think about it, the filet mignon does not taste like the New York strip or the T-bone or the chuck for that matter, right? So you understand that this is when you get to a point where you set smaller goals that are attainable to reach the larger goal. And we break things down. So you have long-term goals, short-term goals, and in the midst of those short-term goals, you have what we call milestones. That's a great question. So what you do is you take your overall goal, and then you break it down into smaller, lesser goals, and then break it down into sizable goals that are chewable. And next thing you know, over the process of time, ladies and gentlemen, you'll see that your big goal had to be worked out over this small process. But you got to learn how to do things a certain way. And that's what we'll share with you a little later. So are there any other questions?
There is one more question. And before I read that question, I'd like to ask, because you emphasize process of time, why is it so important for us to grasp the process of time?
Okay. So the process of time. All right, now that's a good question. All right, let's attack it this way. Time is one of the greatest commodities that the Creator gave us. It takes time for things to develop. The only individuals that we know of that were created and were fully grown and functioning was Adam and Eve. Everyone else had to go through an incubation process and had to be given time for what we call maturation. Over a process of time, you become mature. There are some things that we desire that we may not have the capacity to handle yet. This is why in our space of growth and development, what we do, you all, one of the first lessons I learned was success leaves clues. So my thinking was, well, if success leaves clues, why not just give me the answer? Well, success will then say, if I give you the answer right now, and you say, for example, you are a 16-year-old and you just got your driver's license. You do not give a 16-year-old a Maserati or a Cobra Mustang or a Hellcat Dodge Charger because they're destined to wrap up around the pole. They have not learned certain skill sets, okay? So you have to allow for time. Now, this is one of the reasons why people really, another reason why people don't get to levels of success is because they're too anxious. We had to learn, you all, how to slow down so that we wouldn't miss certain things. We had to learn about the process of time. It goes back to the analogy about the butterfly. You can ruin your chances and opportunity for longevity when you try to rush time. But when you sit back and you let time accrue and you let time do what it's supposed to do, which is mature you, give you the certain things that you learn. This is why I'm gonna tell you, in business, you will, okay, let me give you an aside right here. You'll never be successful in business if you are afraid to fail. You'd be surprised if I tell you all how many startups we had, how many businesses we launched, how many bright ideas that I had that I tried to produce too fast. Now, that doesn't mean that you move at turtle speed either. It just means give time to the process. If the process says to sit down and think so that you can develop an idea or develop a certain level of ideas or opinions, and then it turns into a thing, then you do that. If it says to take and read one page and we give you some instructions, I gave you all some earlier, write down an affirmation and repeat it 100 times a day. Well, you may need to write yours out 100 times a day so that you can burn it into your consciousness. So then it can be pushed down to the subconscious. And I'm going to talk more about that in a few slides. But at the end of the day, if you try to rush it, you ruin your learning curve. Hey, let me ask you a question. Would you rather want somebody to operate on you who skipped the test and cheated on the test and got an A? Or would you rather have somebody who actually studied, may have gotten a C+ or a B on the test, but took the time to learn and really study? I'm gonna submit to you that I would rather have a CV student who is on time, who took the time to show up, who worked a little harder than someone who was a star athlete or someone who's a star cheating just to get their way through on name recognition. They might have missed something, you all. And there's nothing like somebody doing work for you, dismantle something and put it back together and something goes wrong. And they don't know what happened. No. Time is very important.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe one last question. It's 10:45, maybe one last question.
Okay, I do have one last question. And that is, due to technology and other conveniences, how do you develop as a thinker?
Say that a little louder, please.
Due to technology and other conveniences, how do you develop as a thinker?
As a thinker?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's a great question. So we're in a technological age, and we need these things because that means evolution, things are happening. Think about this. If I'm 45, 40 years ago, you couldn't have told me that we were going to be on the screen and I would be able to talk to you and teach like this. 40 years ago, there were no internet. We didn't have that when we were children. So we had to go read Encyclopedia Britannicas. So now, to whom much is given, much is required. And I want you to understand that though we have technology, technology simply means now that you have to learn and master the art of studying more, because you have so much information that you have to sift through, good and bad, positive and negative. So sometimes you can find yourself studying something and you Google something and not realize that what was put up was just something to throw you off, to distract you, so you wouldn't keep your laser sharp focus. So how do you develop as a thinker? You have to narrow things down and concentrate and focus on the task at hand. So for example, I'm called to teach and build leaders, leadership, economic empowerment, right? And business. So a lot of the books that I read are in those particular areas. It really makes no sense for me to perhaps, well, I'm not going to say that because I can learn, you can learn from some of anything. So I can read a book on zoology, but I wouldn't put too much time and effort into that because I'm not trying to become a zoologist. If I want to become a zoologist, then I'm going to have the majority of books about that and animals and things of that nature. So if you want to become a thinker, listen, you don't want to be a jack of all trades, you all. You want to be an individual who has mastery. And that's what success is all about. Self-mastery, team mastery, mastering these certain skill sets. There are 13 skill sets in this book that if you master, it'll take you through the stratosphere. Now, here's the thing. Don't think you're going to pick up this book and run through. I told you, I've been reading this book for 10 years. I have pages bookmarked. When I say I've been reading this book, every time I read this book, you all, it's consistent. It goes with me. It travels with me. And if it's copy mess up, I get a new copy and I keep the dates. But every time I read it, I learn something new because every time I study the book. See, that's fresh. See how to create a thing? So I don't read the book. I study the book. Let me say that. So every time I pick this book up to study it, I learn something new because I'm not trying to rush through it. But once again, I could take a paragraph and put it to the scientific method that we have and get great ideas. Now, this is the reason why I'm suggesting that you read this book and others like it, is because something happens. We call it masterminding, but something happens when you read books like this and it opens up a level of your sensories to receive creative ideas. Well, the ideas were already there. You just weren't on the frequency. Now, I can't get before my piece, but I'm gonna tell you, it's like an AM, FM radio. If you turn on FM, you're gonna get FM. But you're not going to get AM frequency on an FM dial or station, are you? No, you're not. So in terms of that question, in terms of how can you think with all of technology and things of that nature, you have to have a clear and definite goal. It goes right back to what I just taught you, which simply means you have to have a definitive purpose, clearly defined motive and intention. When your purpose is definitive and it's clear, I now know what to go research. If I want to be a public speaker, I'm gonna go read books on public speaking. I'm gonna go find a mentor on public speaking. If I want to be a business owner or businessman, I'm gonna go find books on business, and I'm gonna go get a mentor who is in business. And you'll see why in just a little while. Okay, Favors, is that it? Did we wrap?
That is it for this session.
All right, great. So here it is. It is 10:50, and we're doing great on time. And so we're going to go right into the next session. Now, here's a quote by a man that I highly respect. And I actually really appreciate this guy here because he was a thought leader as well as a technician, but he wasn't afraid to go against the grain. So this individual that we're talking about right now, you all may know him. His name is Mr. Bruce Lee. He once said, and I quote, "Faith is a state of mind that can be conditioned through self-discipline." Once again, faith, ladies and gentlemen, is a state of mind that can be conditioned through self-discipline because faith will accomplish it. Now, if faith is a state of mind, we're talking about a state now, a mindset. I want you to understand that without self-discipline, it can't be conditioned, and things that you want won't come to pass. So we're going to get into this. Once again, success, the success you're looking for is going to happen during the process of you growing, because growing is a constant repetition of motion. That takes self-discipline. It takes conditioning. You got to condition your mind so that you can become self-disciplined, so that the success you're looking for can actually happen. So then, the importance of faith. Without faith, you all, success is unattainable. You will not succeed if you do not have faith in your dreams, your goals, or yourself. It's just a fact. Without faith, success is unattainable. You will not succeed if you do not have faith in your dreams, goals, or yourself. Now, if we flip that to then faith is important to us, then with faith, success is attainable. You will succeed if you have faith in your dreams, your goals, or yourself. Once again, faith means to never quit on your dreams, your goals, or pursuit in the main purpose of your life. So here's what I want you to understand. The foundation of faith, we understand, is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen, which means it's not faith if I see it and I know it's pretty much. Faith, rather, comes from something that is supernatural. Now, with that being said, we can build on this definition because faith is a state of what? It's a state of mind. If faith is a state of mind which may be induced or created by affirmation or repeated instruction to the subconscious mind. So now, to build on faith is the substance of things unseen, I want you to write this statement down right here. Take a screenshot of it, write it down. But this is one of those things that you're going to need. So if the slide says faith is a state of mind which may be induced or created by affirmation or repeated instruction to subconscious mind, the first thing I want you to understand is you say, my faith is a state of mind that I may induce or create by affirmations of repeated instructions to my subconscious mind. Did you all see what I just did? I just gave you all so much in just that one exercise. What did I do? Let me explain to you what I did. This is how you think and put it through a scientific method. Faith is a state of mind. That's a general statement. When you make it personal, you say my faith. Or my faith is a state of mind that I may induce or create by affirmation or repeated instruction to my subconscious mind. What you did, you all, was you made it personal. And by making it personal, you now can put the emotion that needs to go with it. And once the emotion comes, it then can become a burning desire. Once it becomes a burning desire, you all, what happens then? It begins to push down from your conscious mind to your subconscious mind, and then it gets pushed down to other portions of your body, which is that place that controls your behavior. Now, I know many of you all may have never heard it framed this way, but once again, you all, this is higher faculty content, which means you got these sensories. I'll get to that in just a little bit. I don't want to jump ahead of myself, but I want you just to please hear me. Make this change, write this down, and do what I just did. I'm going to do it one more time for you. The slide says faith is a state of mind, which may be induced or created by affirmation or repeated instruction to subconscious mind. You want to make it personal. Say, my faith is a state of mind, which I may induce or create by affirmation or repeated instruction to my subconscious mind. So that means you all, anything that you concentrate on, that you keep repeating over and over and over again to yourself. When you do this and you keep repeating it this way, what will happen, you all, is it alters the vibration and it changes how you begin to maneuver and interact with creation. A state of mind. Faith. You gotta have it. You can't live without it, right? So now, repetition produces faith. This process is called autosuggestion. So if I were to go back to the previous slide that says, I'm going to create a faith or get a state of mind which may be induced through this process of repetition or of information, then the question becomes, how do I develop this kind of faith? And I'm glad you asked, because how you develop this kind of faith is through repetition and process. Once again, you all, process. You're never going to get away from the process. That's why a process is that important. So now let's look at this thing called autosuggestion. Repetition produces faith. This process is called autosuggestion. What does that mean? Now, if you all have been paying attention, have you noticed me repeating certain things to you? I'm not saying it because I'm fishing for something to say. I am well prepared. But if I'm going to literally exemplify and become an example, then there are certain slides in here that I've shown you consistently. You've been seeing them throughout the whole workshop today. So repetition produces faith. The more you say something, the more you repeat it, the more it gets seared into your consciousness and impressed down to your subconscious. So then if repetition produces faith, the process of repeating something over and over again is the process of autosuggestion. So you can suggest some things to your atmosphere. You can suggest some things to your future, and it will take you to levels of success, to higher levels of success by simply suggesting them. Think about it. You just ate maybe 2 hours ago, and your significant other comes in and suggests, I'm hungry, I want a snack. You're really not hungry, but through suggestion, it may trigger something or trigger a type of memory that says, you know what, a snack would be good. Now, to the person who don't know what you all have been talking about, you may say, no, that's just overeating. But what if I just ate a small portion of a meal? Eat a small portion, snack. Eat a small portion, snack. Eat a small portion, snack. That's really the key to producing a metabolic rate and to keep your metabolism running to lose the weight. Yes, we study other things, you all, but that's what that is. So we had to learn that if we just pig out on one good meal and you get sleepy and you get sluggish, 9 times out of 10, it was full of carbs, you overate, and now because of it, your body is changing and went into storage and did some other things, okay? With that being said, repetition produces faith. It's called auto-suggestion. So now, when we talk about the conscious mind, I want to give you a picture of what this looks like, because I've been saying it to you. I've been repeating it to you. So once again, screenshot, do whatever you want to do. The conscious mind is the key that unlocks the subconscious mind and its behavior. Now let's work. In the picture here, you can see on your screen, the top portion of your mind. Notice how we have an individual and you see a brain there. And we drew a line through the half of that circle. So the top half is the conscious mind. Individual by the name of, let me see if I can get his name right, Leland Van der Waal, years ago, created a picture of what the mind really looks like. Think about it. Your mind, many people, when you say the mind, they think of the brain. It's not necessarily the case. Your brain is not your mind. Your mind is a part of your personality. So then you have a conscious mind, which is a thinking mind. I'm gonna break all this down and some slides are coming. For right now, I just want you to see a visual of it. You got your conscious mind, and then you have your subconscious mind. And notice how we have a gold lock right there. So how does this work? The conscious mind is the key. Your conscious mind is the key to unlock your subconscious mind. And from your subconscious mind, your subcon actually controls your behavior. Now, affirmations are more like orders. Please write this down. You are giving yourself a command or an order when you repeat the affirmations. Why? Because remember, the affirmation goes to the conscious mind first. The conscious mind has the ability to do certain things that the subconscious mind cannot. So when you affirm some things, think about it. If you go to a job and they ask for references, when they call your references back, your references are affirming the character and quality of who you are and your work ethic. So if someone calls and they get a bad recommendation or they give a bad affirmation of who you are, then guess what? You don't get that position. So your conscious mind interviews the information and give affirmation to it to give you to your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind carries them out through your body. Now, affirmations are more like orders, instructions, and commands that must be carried out. Here it is, every day, daily, you all. You would be surprised how many people we meet who read affirmations, but they do not do the work that comes along with the affirmation. If I tell you I'm happy and grateful that I lost 10 pounds within 10 days and I do no exercise, then I'm not really talking about an affirmation. I'm just talking about a dream that left. It's not an affirmation when you don't follow the instructions or the commands. And you have to follow these things out daily. Once again, we talked about goals and how you keep your fire and how you stay, in a position of hunger and desire for those goals without getting away. You have to break these things down. So that means if you have a goal and you want to do some things, you all, I mentor pastors, I mentor business leaders, entrepreneurs of the like, and all across the board, many of them have the same problem. They have these big visions, these big goals, because they have vision. But what you got to understand is vision casters need visionaries. Well, what's a visionary? Doc, a visionary is a person who can map out the course from A to Z. So a visionary is the person who has the vision and also has the management skills to say, okay, this is how we get from point A to B to C to D to completion. That means as a builder, we build in phases. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, we're complete. You have 4 corners on the house. You got to have 4 corners on the base of that roof until you build it out. So guess what? You got 4 corners. You got to have at least 2 exits, 2 points of entry, points of exit, so that you can pass the inspection and the building codes. Obviously, y'all been into some real estate from my language, right? So I'm trying to explain that to you now with your success. Your success has to have certain things in order. So then if something comes into your success realm that is out of order, your affirmation has a way of what? Disseminating that stuff, separating that stuff, so that what's needed sticks, which are positive results. What's not needed, negativity, toxic talk, toxic think, it pushes it away from you. Affirmations is a very powerful thing, you all, but affirmations without repetition. So repetition of affirmation, these affirmations, you're giving yourself an order. You're giving yourself an instruction. You're giving yourself a command for that day. Go be great today and be great on purpose, not by accident. Go be great today and be great with intentionality, not mediocrity. It's a suggestion. And when you keep doing this, you don't have to tell yourself to be great, because as soon as you read the affirmation, everything comes back. That means it's on autopilot. It's like a cybernetic system, like in airplanes, that you can say we're going to a certain place. But notice, if one dial is off in that cybernetic system in an airplane, you were on your way to Chicago, you can end up going across to Canada, London, Great Britain somewhere. If it's half a dial off, that way, that's why you have this system that keeps it on course. Your affirmations do the same thing, you all. So let's look at this now. Let's look at this. Orders from your conscious mind pressed down into the subconscious mind produces the faith. This faith is then converted to the thing. And now you're ready to activate the last ingredient. Now watch, we got to work now. We got to scientifically look at this. Conscious, I've received orders into my mind that I want to press down. Therefore, you see the arrows in our stick man over here. Once that happens, a certain level of faith, belief is produced. An idea. So orders, you all, comes in form. Remember, now let's go back to the beginning. Let's bring it to pass. Let's bring it together. You have a thought process that says you're going to think about something. You're going to think about the idea that comes into your conscious mind. Once you think about that idea then, it comes in there, you form an opinion. You form a belief about it. Then it becomes an object in your mind. Think about it, you all. We think in pictures. If I say house, a picture flashes on your screen of your mind. If I say a car, but not any just type of car, a particular car, one that you are familiar with or one that you desire. Past or present or future, it comes in the form of a picture, okay? So now it becomes an object. I mean, it's an object in your mind. It may not have a name on it, but it is still there. So now it produces a faith that says, you know what, I think I can get that. I believe I can get that. And then what happens? Once it becomes positive, notice that it's a plus sign about right there, then it gets pressed down. But I'm going to show you later on, if you receive a negative object, how that responds and reacts in your body as well. But for right now, we're going to keep it positive. So these orders that you're receiving, you say it every day. I am happy and grateful now that I'm healthy, wealthy, and successful. I'm happy. You should write that down. I am happy that I'm healthy, wealthy, and successful. You keep saying that over and over and over, and you press it down. Remember, you gain faith every time it gets down, and then it's converted into a thing, which means thoughts are things. Through this process, you then convert into a thing. You begin to manifest it into its physical form. So every time you push down, so happy and grateful that I'm happy, healthy, and successful, you push down pictures that make you happy. You push down pictures that make you healthy. You push down pictures, you all, that make you successful. So you'll start to see yourself in a successful state, however that is. You'll start to see yourself with successful things, whatever those are. It all depends on you and your set of belief and what you're seeing, what you're receiving, what you're producing through your faith emotion. So orders from your conscious mind press down into the subconscious mind. So you're gonna say, well, what are those orders? What are the things that's coming into my conscious mind? Well, I'm glad you asked, but before I do that, that's gonna come up in another slide. I want you to realize that you're gonna produce a level of faith for the things that you're pushing down. And now, once you get it to your subconscious mind, where the faith is developed, now something is gonna happen called the last ingredient. Now, this is very important, you all. Self-confidence. This is the fifth step I'm not going to go too deep into this because this carries along with it. This is almost another skill set in and of itself. For that person who asked the question, how do I stay on fire? How do I not let it go out? You got different skill sets that you could be mastering. So when you get bored with this one, you graduate to the second grade. You get bored to second grade, you graduate to the third grade. And so on and so forth till you get to high school, to college. And then after college, what? You don't stop learning. The way you learn changes, but you don't stop learning. You become a specialist. So self-confidence. Faith gives you self-confidence. This is why faith is so important to your success, you all. So in order to get this self-confidence, which is the last key, the last step that you need in order to master faith in you, in your abilities, we have a 5-step confidence formula for you. Now, I want you to see that this is also taken from one of the courses that I took when we were growing deeper into this book. So you mean to tell me, Favors, you said you've been reading this book for 10 years, and yet you still went and got a mentor who taught you things about this book? Yes, indeed. You say, why? Let me give you something. At the time, I gave you an example about me making $60,000 a year. Okay? Mentor said, Favors, the reason why you couldn't see that in this book is because you didn't have the level of awareness to see that you could do $60,000 a month. So then he began to take this book and take some of the same lines and expose things that I didn't see in the book because of where I am and where I was. See, many times we use words about get on the level and get on this level, we get offensive, but it's not to be offensive. It's just that if I'm a millionaire, I'm making $100K a month. You can't do it because you don't know how to do it. It's not your fault that you don't know how to do it, but you get offended as if it's your fault. This is where I got one of the revelations that sometimes in life you don't know that you don't know until someone who knows shows you so, tells you so. So you thinking it's all good and it's happening until they come along and give you another level of perspective, which they got from their mentor. I mean, think about it. Jesus had 12 disciples, 12 mentees. Wow, imagine that. So here's the thing, you all. Number one, let's do this in terms of self-confidence forming. Number one, I need you to understand something. I want you to take a screenshot. Well, those who join the club, we're going to actually send it to you, but I want you to be able to see this. And I want you to be able to read that. So in reading that, you'll see that it says, let me see here. I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action toward its attainment. And I here and now promise to render such action. You got to take a screenshot of that. And I'm going to want you to write it down. And those who decide to get into the club, which we'll talk about in a minute, I'm going to want you all to write each one of these 5 times. And I want you to take a picture of it, and I'm going to want you to post it. See, that's what coaching also gives us accountability. And some of you all just need accountability. That's the only deciding factor that you're missing is mentorship and accountability. So anyway, I know that you can achieve these things. Therefore, you're going to put a demand on yourself. You're going to repeat this every day, 5 times a day. I want you to write it down 5 times, repeat it 5 times a day. I demand of myself persistent, continuous action towards its attainment. Whatever it is that you want. I asked you earlier, you ought to write down what you want, what you desire. Do you all see how it's been building up? It's the process of the whole day. I've been teaching you through a coaching course and in other words, y'all, this is how we do things. And it's amazing how the results that we get if you do it and follow the instructions. So anyway, I know this is my definite purpose. We're going to do this, but I'm going to put continuous action toward its attainment. And I here and now promise to render such action. So now you just made a promise. Let me tell you something. I used to say this to people and they would say, man, nah, that ain't true. I would say, you can pull your future into your present right now. Nah, how you do? You can't do that. That's why it's called the future, so on and so forth. But you got to realize that if I vision cast if I imagine myself in the future, and I imagine myself having a conversation with myself in the future, what would my future say to myself now? My future self would say, hey, put continuous action toward attaining the goal. And you're going to help you now, which helps me in the future, which helps you in the future. So therefore, what you do today affects your tomorrow. So I can bring my future into my today. Second thing, you all, I realize the dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves into physical reality. I need you all to understand that, just that one portion right there. This is what we've been telling you, what I've been telling you all morning long about your thoughts are things, about you being able to transmute these things. You got a definite purpose, persistence, and burning desire that you can push it down from your conscious to your subconscious mind and get different type of results. Now, I know it sounds a little foggy, but once again, this is the success through coaching with thy favors that we're going to release. We're releasing it. And I'm going to share a little bit more about that to you in just a little while. Now, I realize the dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves in outward physical action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts, here it is, for 30 minutes a day upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to become, thereby creating in my mind a clear mental picture of that person. That is the success frequency. Now you have to get on that wavelength. How do I get on that wavelength? I'm going to concentrate my thoughts. I'm going to send my thoughts up to the guy that's making $60K a month. Y'all don't want to talk to me today. So that means now my dress, the way I carry myself changed, the way I speak changed, the food I eat, the choices that I make. I may not have been there at the point in time, but the lesson was, favors, whatever you need to do, you need to do it. You got to increase it. Okay, so how do I do that? You chip it down. So I didn't start off, so I'm going to automatically become a millionaire. I said, okay, I need to get to 5K a month. I need to get to 6K a month. I need to get to 10K a month. I need to get to 12K a month. I need to get to 15K a month. After that, life changes. You're in a different area code. You're in a different tax bracket once you get to the top 10 to 15%. Subsequently, do you all know that only 15% of people in America make over $100,000 to $2,000 a year? 15%? You say, well, how is that? Inflation. I'm serious. And I'm talking about after all your bills are paid, take home, the stuff you get to keep. Not paper, stuff you get to keep. That's totally different. So anyway, you want to start thinking about the person who you want to become and concentrate on that for 30 minutes. Now, that person who asked me about time management, this is why you cannot rush through the process as well. Because if you rush through this process and you don't give yourself 30 minutes at least a day, then guess what happens to your self-image? It deflates. Many people who are depressed, you all, don't have a positive self-image or a strong system to reinforce that self-image. See, when you got a certain level of self-confidence and somebody say something negative to you, it bounces off you like water and oil. It will not stick. When you know that you're called to entrepreneurship and you get no's. That's why network marketing was never hard for me, because I embraced the no, because it was a learning piece. But what it did do was give me a whole another level of discernment and awareness to where I can pay attention and interact with people more effectively. Yeah, learn that through network marketing. As a matter of fact, it was, I believe it was one of my mentors in the network marketing company that turned me on to this book. Wow, imagine that. So here it is. I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person. Now, when you start thinking, imagining, visualizing this person you are, sometimes it helps to do what? You can have a vision board, but sometimes you'll get the vision board and you'll just glance at it. You see, people who do that, they don't understand the concept of a vision board. A vision board means you're supposed to sit down and actually visualize everything on that board and literally take yourself there. So for the team of leaders that I lead down here in Jacksonville, we go sit in new houses. We go sit in brand new cars. We get the smell of it. We feel the suppleness of the leather. We go out to places and go eat in different arenas. We go where where money is, so that when they come home and begin to dream and visualize, they can actually take themselves to that place. It makes a difference. For those who have never experienced it, you may not understand what I'm talking about, but I guarantee you now, go get in your car and go drive around the neighborhood with $1 million homes that you may want to have one. It may not be $1 million home, but guess what? A $500,000 home on a block with $1 million home still has value of $1 million home. Hello. Okay. So if you don't have 8 kids, you may not need an 8-bedroom house. Everything past that is vanity, but guess what? I get it. If that's what you want, get what you want. That's what you desire, get what you desire. But you need to concentrate for 30 minutes. And I can't express that enough. 30 minutes daily, every day, upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to become, thereby creating in your mind a mental picture of that person. Number three, you all, self-confidence. Number 3, I know through the principle of auto-suggestion, any desire that I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression through some practical means of attaining the object back of it. Therefore, I will devote 10 minutes daily to demanding of myself the development of self-confidence. In other words, you all, you have to know and believe in the principle of auto-suggestion, which is affirmation, consistency, repetition of speaking to yourself in a positive way. Any desire that I persistently hold in my mind. So now, if you don't hold it in your mind with persistence, you all remember the definition of persistence? Okay. Course of action without wavering. You hold this in your mind. Eventually, it will try to seek expression through practical means of attaining the object back of it. So you want to devote 10 minutes to demanding of yourself of self-confidence. Now we're looking at 30 minutes of visualizing the person you want to become. We're looking at 10 minutes of building and developing the muscle of self-confidence. I am strong. I am a conqueror. I am loved. Hey, these things matter, you all. Now I know it sounds like you're dealing with but for 10 minutes a day, it's not a long time. Okay. So now, number 4, thank you. Number 4, I have clearly written down a description of my definite chief aim in life. Now, I need you all to take a moment and write yourself a note to remind yourself that you have to do this. Clearly write down a description of your definite chief aim in life. You got to write this down, you all. Things have to be written. And I will never stop trying until I shall have developed sufficient self-confidence for its attainment. And then, of course, the last one, number 5, I fully realize that no wealth or position can long endure unless built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I will engage in no transaction which does not benefit all whom it affects. No dirty dealing, you all. No offsetting the scales, no trying to get over on people, no trying to exert your will on somebody else, no manipulation, nothing like that. I will succeed by attracting to myself the forces I wish to use and the cooperation of other people. I will induce others to serve me because of my willingness to serve others. That's the key to leadership. It's called servant leadership because my wife and I serve men in our life. Bishops and leaders and mentors, we then have people who serve us willingly because they understand that one day it's going to be their turn to lead and then God will release service. That's how that works, you all. Now, here's the thing. I will eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism. Developing love for all humanity because I know that a negative attitude towards others can never bring me success. I will cause others to believe in me because I will believe in them and in myself. And then it's a signed document, y'all. So Those of you who join the club, we actually have this for you. If you see that down there, Success Club, Essential Leaders Institute, we're going to send this to you. This is going to be one of the things that you get. You're going to send it, get it, print it, sign it, take a picture, and then post it, because we're going to hold you accountable. This is the contract. This is the rules, the orders, the regulation of you becoming successful. And we're going to coach you through this the same way. So when you have questions, when you run up against a place, when you find yourself failing and faltering, you find yourself needing that extra push, you're finding yourself needing a reminder, that's what we're here for, you all. Okay? So that being said, come on, Lady Favors.
Oh, we got them. We got them.
Q&A
I hope that you guys are enjoying this, because this is some wealthy information to get us on the track of success in our lives. But yes, Apostle, I'm sorry, Dr. Favors, we do have a few questions in the chat.
Yep.
And the first
so any
one
question,
says,
I'm looking on YouTube.
okay, I understand the repetition of affirmation. What is the process to change mindset of bad habits, such as procrastination, toxic mindsets, and beliefs? And how do we keep from feeling defeated by them and shutting down?
Okay, now that's a very long question, Faye.
Two questions in there.
Okay, so let me do this. This is one of those times where we're going to break the protocol. You all on YouTube, bear with us. But I need to do this and read that one myself.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I understand the repetition of affirmation. What is the process? You know what? Let me just do this here. Let's just do that. Okay. Now, all right. Now, this is what we're looking at. Okay. All right. Look at all you beautiful, successful people on here this morning. Okay. Let's do this here. I understand the repetition of affirmation. What is the process to change mindset of bad habits such as procrastination, toxic mindset, belief, how we keep? All right, so understand the repetition of affirmation. What is the process to change mindset of bad habits? I'm just going to tell you the truth. The answer to that is too much to unpack right here in this setting. This is why we have mentorship. And y'all, we some mentors you all we have, man, it's year long. Though these programs that my wife and I have built out, that's why we have those like that, because some things, like I say, you're not going to be able to rush through. It didn't take you 30 days to get this way. Some of us, it took years to get this way, right? And so that's why we have programs designed to walk you through and hold your hand. And whoever wrote that question, I suspect you're going to be one of the ones that take advantage of some of these things we have to offer. We're going to share in just a little while. And how do we keep from feeling defeated by them and shutting down? Once again, we have exercises and things to literally show you how to do that, okay? But it is entirely too much. That's a whole nother session right there, you ought to be honest with you. But it's a great question, because this is what we need. We need questions like this, okay? So that is right there. Okay, next question here. Favors, you got some?
How to get the mindset to ask for help and or receive help?
Oh, that's good. That's easy. You gotta, in terms of asking for help, you all, many people don't ask for help because of pride. And you say pride, why? Because it's pride and fear of rejection and things of that nature, okay? And so when that happens, what you got to do is overcome that fear of rejection and just realize that, you know what, I'm going to be better. It all comes down to a mindset, y'all. And that's why I say these courses that we offer and things that we're going to be sharing with you in just a little while, you all, this is the reason when we read certain books and those who are connected to us, you've heard this language about doing things a certain way. Repetition. There's only two ways to change the paradigm, and I'm going to show you those in the next presentation. And also, I suspect that we may be off here a little earlier today because it's already 11:30 and we right on time. So we may be able to get done maybe 30 minutes earlier if that's all right with you all. Okay, but what I was saying was there is no way around the process. So, okay, thank you. So here it is. How do you get around those things that you were asking about? It's through a process, and you have to be willing to go through the process, put it like that. And that's the power of mentorship. That's the power of once again, having things like this be made available. And like I told you all, you see, if we were in a different setting at this point in time, we would be raising offerings and asking you all to sow and do certain things like that. But this is not that. All right. We have space for that. But this is literally us taking time to give you all something that God allowed us to be blessed with this, which is millionaire mentorship. So let me do this right here before the next question. If you're getting something from this, if you're getting some information that is awesome, those of you on YouTube, I need you to put some thumbs up. Those of you who are in the chat, just throw your hands up, get some thumbs up. If this information is stellar for you and you're getting something out of it, just let us know. I need to know that. I need to know if this is valuable, because like I said, when I took it, it was life-changing for me. I see one in the chat. I see the chat blowing up at this point. I see YouTube, thumbs up on YouTube. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And those of you who are watching through YouTube, please do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. Everyone who's on the Zoom, please go to Dr. Mike Favors. Take a moment to do that and subscribe to our channel, because we will be putting up content over there. Once again, that's the Dr. Mike Favors. And okay, now I see some chats. I see it moving. I see some movement. Okay. All right, Favors, I'm ready for the next question.
Okay, is there any more questions? Please put it in chat or on YouTube. Dr. Favors, you mentioned the importance of repetition. And then I think I hear you stressing, I'll just use the words patience a lot, which would be, I guess, associated with the process of time, that we just really need to be patient with ourselves and not be anxious, because it is going to take time to get where we want to go, but we have to stay encouraged. So in staying encouraged, I guess my question would be, because we have to be patient with ourselves, how do we keep ourselves encouraged while we're waiting on our change to come?
Okay. Thank you, Fred. That's a great question, you all. How you stay encouraged? See, when you keep the formula and you then realize that your daily affirmation is so important. Watch this, you all. Every day I visualize the new me, the success image. Every day you visualize yourself as successful. How can you get discouraged when you see yourself in a different light? I guarantee you, if you don't keep the assignments, you get sad and depressed when you stop looking at yourself as a success. See, I'm successful and confident, and I want the world to know it. So I'm not going to lock myself up in a room in dark house where no one can see me. I want people to see. You can tell by the way I walk, by the way I talk, I'm a successful man. You see how I did that? Staying alive. Y'all see how I did that? So you want people to see your success. Matter of fact, you want to interact with other successful people. That's why we got memberships at the Queens Harbor Golf Club and this golf club and this private club community. We want to be around successful people so we can vibrate and talk about successful things. Okay? So how do you stay encouraged? You got to keep yourself surrounded. Watch this, you all, by A1 performers, A1 producers who have a vision of themselves being successful as well. There's nothing worse than having an A1 producer who wants to be successful around people with crab in the barrel mentality, y'all. It'll zap your strength. It will weigh you down. And next thing you know, you will stop believing in yourself. You will stop believing in your abilities. I'm gonna tell you, that is very dangerous. When we teach people, I'll give you this piece, you all, from the club. When we teach people in the club and y'all get to this thing and get to these mentoring programs and coaching programs, we tell you the first thing you got to do is be willing to cut certain things and people off for a period of time so that you can heal, so that you can get to a certain level where you can then handle certain critiques. Because beyond, many people say they want success, but you got to realize to whom much is given, much is required. You got to have more patience, because if you're a millionaire and everybody around you is not, then every time they need or want, they're going to come to you. And if you don't give it to them, then they're going to blame you because they don't have the success that you have. It's your fault that they're broke. It's your fault that they didn't do the things that you did. It's your fault that they don't have the work ethic. And I know that's, once again, that's why we keep 95% of what we talk about all positive, because you don't need to focus on the negative. That's already there around you every day, all day. As a matter of fact, if you take a garden and you do nothing with that garden, it's automatically going to grow weeds. Well, if you take a mind and you don't fill that mind with positive thoughts, reaffirming thoughts, it's automatically going to grow negative and toxic thoughts, because you're in the environment of it daily. So I hope that answered that question.
Yes, sir. And I believe that concludes the questions for, oh, wait a minute, let me check. Okay, that does conclude the questions for this session.
All right, well then we are just rolling right along. Let's go ahead and let's get to it. Like I say, we might be able to get out of here a little early. Yes. Okay. Oh, that's what that meant. Okay, I got a notification that they can see my application. Now I see what that is. Okay, I forgot to push play. All right, y'all. We're working it out. Now, here's part 2. The secret frequency of success, you all. First part was about the foundation, mindset, and faith. You're going to have a mindset shift, which means to have a made up mind. This part is and then the second session, the first session was made up mind. Second session would have faith in your abilities, faith in yourself, so that you can build the self-confidence that you need to get to the next level. You got to believe in yourself. People can believe in you, but if you don't believe in yourself, you're the one who has to do it. Okay? So the second part here, you all, we're getting ready to get on frequency and really talk about some things. I'm going to open up the vault for you because I said I would. But before we do, the success you're looking for is going to happen during the process of your growing, because growing is a consistent repetition of what? Motion. Now, you've seen this. You've seen repetition now. I hope that it's starting to sink in now. It's searing on the thought of your mind that, you know what? I think I can go through this process. I may not know what the process is yet, but I'm sure Doc Fave's going to tell me about it. But I'm already thinking, just like the man in the story, before Napoleon Hill even got finished with the speech, he made up his mind that he was going to make a way for himself. And I'm hoping that some of you all have made up your mind. No matter what happens, you're going to be successful and get to the next level. And you realize that it's important and has to happen through this right here. So here's the thing. This session here, you all, paradigms and mentorship. The power of mentorship on your road to progress is very important. You may not believe it, but it is. It helps you because, once again, there are certain things that you don't know. And self-help, self-education only goes so far. I mean, think about it. Could you, if you didn't have a teacher, didn't have a book, could you teach yourself how to read if you didn't know what the symbols were? Someone has to decode certain things for you. And that's the difference, you all. Now we say, well, it's the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Let me explain something to you all. Those cliches are for people who did not want to follow the instructions. And sadly to say, the outcome is what the outcome is. If I listen and follow the rules, I get the results of listening and following the rules. Shucks, sometimes you can make your own rules. Okay? So, session 3, paradigms and mentorship. May I please, favors? Now, paradigm. You all have heard this. You all have seen this. But I'm going to make it available for you so that you can see it in its entirety. This is the vault. We vault talking now. This is stuff that we've been teaching for years, but we have not shared openly like this. But it's time, because you all need to know that there's something greater for you. It's so much out here for you that's going to position you to really become a better person. Everything about me changed when I started studying personal growth and development. Okay. So when I learned this right here, paradigm, it changed my life. I went through 4 paradigmatic shifts when I met one of the greatest mentors in my life. And so we have stuff that we talk about, but for that's for another time. But here's the thing. What's a paradigm? Paradigm, you all, is a multitude of habits stored in a section of our subconscious mind that we inherited since we were young. And these paradigms, they are the primary cause of your results. Now here it is, because many of you all haven't heard it framed like this. A multitude of habits stored in a section of your subconscious mind. So I need you to look at the subconscious mind on this screen. Look at the conscious mind, which is the top half of your mind, subconscious mind, which is the lower half. You have habits that you learn through your environment, through the way you grew up, through you watching your mother or your father or your parents and things of that nature. You've watched these individuals do certain things. And because you've watched and you've interacted, it causes habits in you. And you have some of these habits and don't even know that you're doing them. So subsequently, you got some people who are just bad with money because their family were bad with money. You got some people who are good with money because their family taught them how to be good with money when they were young. It's not your fault. It's a part of your paradigm, which is a pre-program. That program, how you were pre-programmed when you were a child, because you could not disseminate between bad and good information. All you could do was receive it. You could not reject it. So in that subconscious mind is a section where you inherit these things. Let me say it like this. Some things in life when you inherit, Bob Proctor, one of my mentors, used to say this all the time. If I was born in Italy, I would speak Italian because my parents spoke it and that's what I would learn. But since I was born in America, I speak English, right? So that's what I mean by the inheritance of it. It's in your DNA since you were young. But did you know, now here's what many people don't know, is that these habits that were instilled in you since you were a child, these are the habits that's causing you to get your results, good or bad. Let's work. So then results. Look at this picture. Paradigms. You got paradigms for relationships. You got habits for relationships. You got paradigm for finance. You got paradigm for business. You got eating paradigms. You got thinking paradigms. You got paradigms floating all over the place, y'all. But your results are directly affected by your paradigms. Hence, to get different and better results, you must learn how to alter your paradigm. Now, the question is, if I can be frank and blunt with you on both platforms, if you could have done it, you would have done it by now. Is that a safe statement to say? Just type yes in the chat for me, y'all. If that's a safe statement, if I could have done it, I would have done it by now. Just type yes in the chat if that's a safe statement to say. That goes back to the statement. I see you. I see him. That goes back to the statement of me saying that there were some things in my life that I didn't know that I didn't know. I thought I had it going on, y'all. But when it came to mentorship, when I joined John Maxwell, when I joined Bob Proctor and them, when I joined Bishop Long and them, there were certain things that they were doing that I said, you know what, I never would have thought about that. When I joined Paul Martinelli and I took public speaking with Roddy Galbraith, I mean, I have multiple mentors in my life, you all. Seriously. When I really got serious, when I got with Old Testament scholar Timber Mafiko, Dr. Mafiko, I learned certain things that I just didn't know to even go there, right? That's the power of it. But I didn't realize that my results were directly connected with all of the paradigms that I had floating around. So it's only 2 ways to alter your paradigm, you all. I know you've been asking. How do we do that? 2 ways you alter your paradigm. Number 1, the process of repetition of information with essential level mentoring and coaching. That's where we come in. And number 2, a serious emotional impact. Now, I want you to understand this, that a serious emotional impact, something happens, a storm comes through, and you're under 12, 13, 14 feet of water, and your whole house is wiped off its foundation and gone. That's going to change your paradigm, you all. Because how can you not be emotional by it? Because it just uprooted everything that you call home. Now you're forced to have to change your paradigm. You're forced to have to go and do something different. You're forced to have to go buy a new house or move into an apartment. You're forced to do that. So one way to change your paradigm is when things outside or beyond of your scope of control happens, and you just have to respond or react to what happens. All right. But the other way, where we teach, is that through essential level mentoring and coaching you all, through process of repetition of information that we're going to teach you, hold you accountable to, you can then alter your paradigm, thus alter your results. And this is the essence of becoming successful. It's about results on demand. How can I get these results and get these results in a rapid fashion to where it impacts my life now? Well, we can show you. So you see the conscious mind, you see the arrows with repetition going down to the subconscious mind. That's how you're going to change it. The process of repetition. But notice, it's a process. So when I first heard this, I took it, okay, process, repetition. I can go do it. I could not go do it because I didn't know what they knew that I know now. That's interesting, isn't it? But once I learned it, I then realized, you know what, I'm glad. This was the best piece. And I'll tell you the truth, you all, I spent more money on my personal growth and development. Listen, if you don't hear nothing else from me today, know that you are your greatest investment. I need you to just write that down. Just write, I am my greatest investment. It can't cost enough. So when I talk to people, and one thing about Bob and them program, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm talking about thousands of dollars, you all. You know, they got programs that cost 30 grand. And when you do it, one thing that they said, we was at a conference, you all, like a 3-4 day conference. And I paid, I did. But they said, it doesn't matter. You know, when they start asking about programs, they said, it doesn't matter how much it costs. You're going to spend the money anyway. If you don't spend it here, you're going to spend it in other places trying to figure it out, only to find and get to that place where you keep running up against that wall. You keep hitting that tear barrier because you got too much pride where you can't accept the fact that we know something you don't know and that bothers you. I'm telling you all the truth. And once we got to that resolve and say, you know what, you may know something I don't know. How do I get what you know? Mentorship, altering the paradigm. You know, stubbornness and pride is some people's paradigm, and you can't teach them nothing. They would rather have 100% of a company that's going broke than 25, 30% of a company that's going to the stratosphere. Now you think about that mindset for a minute. What type of person would rather have 100% of a company that's going out of business, in debt, millions of dollars, versus connected with another conglomerate that can bring it out and you get some peace, you get some money, you get compensated for it? It's a paradigm, you all. So a lot of people need help with their paradigm. So how exactly does a paradigm work? The success frequency, a paradigm shift. How does this work, you all? Well, remember I told you about this guy, Leland Van Waal, this guy here, who drew a picture and showed it to individuals back in the day. This is the picture of what we call a stick man. You see now that it has a subconscious mind, the conscious mind, but it also has a body down there. And how this works, you all, is when you were a child, when I was just speaking to you as an infant, this is how you look. So your top half of your mind, the conscious mind, that mind that has an ability to receive or reject, it hasn't been developed. So anything that child is exposed to until a certain age, radio, people, TV, newspapers, I should have put TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, Google, all of that. All of these technological advancements that we have are influencing your children. And we're wondering why our children sometimes are spacing out, doing all type of stuff. And it's because we're not monitoring what they're receiving, because they don't have listen, they don't have a set of mind skills that says they can reject certain things. That's why cyberbullying is at a place, because they don't know they can reject it yet. They're open globe. And now what happens is sometimes you all get adults who've grown up with half-developed minds. Why? because of the thought of process, the thought of thinking. Lazy thinkers, you all. I'm telling you. So if you're a lazy thinker, you're frustrated because you can't get the ideas to create. So you can't clarify what it is you want. So now it's hard for you to find out what direction you want to go in. Excuse me. That is a paradigm, people. Listening and trying to figure it out and doing all this without reading, without thinking. Your thinking is going to be limited. And once again, this is a true statement. I don't like to say it, but you have grown people in excess of age, y'all, who still think on these levels. Yes. And so the good news is that we can help change that. All right. So now let's look at this. Take a screenshot of this. Look at this. This is important to know. So your conscious mind, how does information come into your conscious mind? That place of thoughts, the thinking mind. The thinking mind can accept, reject, and or receive. It contains 6 intellectual higher frequencies. Okay. But you have your primary sensories up there: hear, see, smell, touch, and taste. That's the difference of how we are created from the other creation of God. Well, we got animals that can hear, see, smell, touch, and taste. What's the difference? The difference is we have intuition, we have reason, we have the will, we have imagination. We have these higher faculties that give us the ability to think, to have thoughts, you all. Okay? So then the subconscious mind, which is the place of emotion or feelings are emotions, right? This is the emotional mind. This works in feelings, and it must accept all information impressed upon it through repetition or emotion. Then this controls vibration of the body. Now, let me take a moment and break this down for you, because this is very important. Your conscious mind, the thinking mind, has the ability to, it can accept, receive, reject, or create, right? Your subconscious mind cannot. So the top part, the conscious mind, is the one that has the key to unlock the subconscious mind, who controls the vibration of the body. That's that doing part of the personality. The vibration of the body decides, hell, the subconscious controls the actions on the behalf of the personality. Hoping y'all getting this. So then what happens? What I receive in my conscious mind, I impress it down to my subconscious mind, and my body vibrates in such a way. So that just means you're feeling. So if somebody say, how are you feeling? You're not going to say, well, you know, my body is in a negative vibration right now, which is causing my head to hurt. No, you're going to say, I'm not feeling too good, my head hurt. But the scientific piece behind it, the methodology, you all, is this is what it is. This is what's happening. Now, I had to read some psychology books and some things like that, had to get mentored to make all this make sense to you all. But once again, you all, becoming successful is a science. Okay? So this is why even when you realize, as me being a pastor, it's only 2 ways you're going to get this type of information. You're going to get it from theology, you're going to get it from science. And that's why those 2 entities used to have very huge conflict, because where one person say it was science, another person say it was spirit. But spirit is in all things. God is the creator of everything. So we get the best of both worlds here, y'all. Okay? So now, thinking man, subconscious mind. Emotional man, subconscious mind. Body is controlled by your subconscious. Now you say, well, Favors, how is that so? Well, have you ever done something involuntary? If someone were to walk up to you and throw their hand at you, you don't have to give it thought about putting your hand up to block it. Now, your body blocked it. Your hand, your arm is a part of your body. Your body blocked it and went into motion without you having to think about it, did it? So what controlled your body? It was your subconscious mind that controlled your body. You get into a situation, you got muscle memory. Your subconscious mind controls the actions of your body. If something happens and you just take off running and you don't know what's going on, your subconscious is controlling that portion of you. This is why you can think you want to do something, but if your paradigm don't want to do it, or your paradigm comes against it, remember, paradigm are the habits and things that sit in your subconscious mind. So if you got habits to say, I'm going to continue eating such a way, you got to change the paradigm before you can change I mean, you got to change the paradigm. That you got to get the paradigm to go along with the thoughts of your conscious mind before you can change it in your body. That's like saying, you know what? I want to lose weight. We don't lose weight, you all. We release it. So guess what happens? If you don't change your image in your conscious mind, then you will not be able to send down or impress on your subconscious mind the new image. Therefore, you might lose a little weight, but you're going to go back to looking the same way you were because you haven't changed it up here. Now, what happens when we have this? You got two things going on this screen. You got the stick, man. You got the you got the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and then you have the body. Now let's deal with the top to bottom. On the left side, the top of your screen, you see the word ignorance, and you see a negative sign up under it. On the right side, you see the word knowledge, and you see a plus sign up under it. Let us just say, for the sake of this piece, you all, that the negative sign is negative or ignorance. The positive sign is positive or knowledge. Okay? Now, don't let this word offend you. I'm not calling anybody ignorant or ignorant, excuse me, language, but I want you to just be practical, okay? Ignorance simply means there's something I don't know. No harm, no foul. If you don't know, ask for help. So now, well, here's what happens though. If there's something that a person doesn't know and they're operating from this place, listen, you all, a ignorant leader is a very dangerous leader. In other words, a leader who is not informed, a underread leader who's just getting up, talking about or repeating something they heard and they don't really know the fact, they don't know what's going on, very dangerous. So for the sake of where we are right now, watch this. Ignorance leads to worry and doubt. I've written several books, had the pleasure, and one of the books I've written called Freedom talks about worry and doubt. I wrote a whole book on how to overcome everything I'm telling you right now called Freedom. You can go to MikeFavor.com, check it out. Shameless plug, we'll have to do it. Anyway, ignorance, you all, breeds worry and doubt because I don't know. Now, because I don't know, it then pushes down from the subconscious. So look at the cloud right there with the negative line. That's worry and that's doubt. That's it, because it's something I don't know. So then when I'm faced to go and talk to somebody or be in front of a crowd and I don't know something, that's how fear sets in. When you're not confident about a speech or confident about a particular assignment or something, you begin to worry about it. And then when you worry about it too much, you begin to doubt yourself about it. Then what happens? You suppress that doubt, you pushes it down to your subconscious mind, which is the seat of behavior. Now it becomes an habitual thing, and you start operating in fear. Hear me. I said operating. That means everything you do. You're the one who complain all the time. You're the one who always got something bad to say. You're the one who always recognize, well, this could happen, that could go wrong, this, da-da-da-da. Let me tell you something. That is a habitual paradigm that you got people around you who don't even realize they're doing it. But everything come out their mouth is either negative complaint because they are worried about, they operate from a place of lack. And then what happens to your body? Conscious mind pushes it down to the subconscious mind, you all. And the next thing you know, it causes your body to vibrate a certain way. Y'all have to understand that everything is in a constant state of motion. Everything is always moving, even to the molecular piece. This screen I'm looking on, it's moving, it's frequency, it's waves moving all through this thing. If we were to put this table up under a magnifying glass or telescope or stethoscope or whatever that thing is called, you would see molecules still moving, okay? So things are still moving. So your body begins to move and vibrate in such a way that it causes it anxiety. So then you go look at what anxiety means. It means the fight or flight mechanism. So your heart begins to pump fast as if you're getting ready to run or fight, but you're standing still. It could hurt you. So what happens? All of that is suppressed because you're now suppressing all these feelings and emotions, which means you're not talking to no one. Then depression kicks in because you're not talking to no one. Then your mind begin to play tricks on you. Everybody always out to get you. And next thing you know, you put your body in a position of dis-ease. This is how disease sets in. This is how people who are sick all the time are sick all the time. Notice how sickly people who are always sick always have symptoms of depression, anxiety. Now, they do a good job at hiding it. But the reality of it is, if you look at the scope of the overall big picture, you can see these things clear as day now that I've taught you. And who would have thought that it all goes back to them not being knowledgeable about something because they won't read, study, really read and study, really go through the whole thought process of what I'm teaching you. Y'all, this is how you get success. Successful people do this. So then at that point happen, what happens to you? Your whole person ends up going through what we call disintegration, you all. And I'm telling you the truth. There's a big old medical word called hypochondria, hypochondriacs. Those are people who go in and out the doctor thinking something wrong with them and nothing is wrong with them. So you have to now realize that this is why those who are close to me and my wife know we don't spend a whole lot of time talking about the things that are wrong with us. There are certain things that I got to work on, but you know, every time you see me, I'm not talking about this. I'm not talking about that. I'm focusing on the positive things. Because if I focus on the positive things, then I can change and rework my body through doing the things, a few simple steps. Now, there are going to always be some things that we have, yeah, but I choose to accentuate the positive, which far outweighs the bad. So out of, say, 7 days, I may feel bad one day versus a person who operates this, they feel bad 6 days and feel good only one day. No, I need 6 days of feeling good with one bad day. I won't complain about that one bad day, y'all. Okay, the other side of me started coming out. Let me get back to Dr. Favors. Bishop almost came out right there, y'all. All right. So now we have the negative side that is rooted in ignorance and just by not knowing. Now let's get to the other side. Now, the other side has knowledge. So ignorance versus knowledge. What happens when I have knowledge? Well, knowledge now, when you get to it, the plus sign, knowledge comes when you study. Notice it didn't say read, because you can read and not learn anything. Because some people, we were taught that we can read just to say we read, but never have the results of what we study. And this is how I know when people are lying and saying, I read something. Yeah, you read, but you didn't study it because I don't see the results. So let's talk about it. Study. What happens when you study, you all? Your level of understanding increases. Listen, let's go back to slide. Let's go back. Let me walk this thing down to you. So when I study something, when you study something, what happens? You develop thoughts. You put those thoughts through a process of thinking. Then you develop an opinion and a belief with an idea. Then the idea, y'all, turns into something animate, turns into a thing, which is now you can see it in your mind. You put that thing through the process, and next thing you know, you get a definite purpose. You get clarity, a definiteness of purpose. Then you become persistent and seeing that thing come out. Then you get this burning desire that you know what, I'm gonna put some emotion behind it. Then you drop down to session 2 and get the faith with it. And through faith builds your confidence. And once you have confidence, you all, because you understand something, you got all this faith going on. Then what happens? It then pushes down to your body. And now you are in a state of well-being. Healthy, wealthy, and successful means you're in such a state of well-being that now you want to express it. This is why one of the books we read talks about love and love wanting to express itself to the highest capacity. Men and women, when we love one another, we want to give gifts of expression, tokens of expression to show how we love, but those tokens of expression cost money. We're just going to talk about it. So then what happens? At this point, you all, your well-being kicks in, the expression kicks in, you all, and then now you begin to accelerate. Things that were once hard are now easy. Things that look like an opposition, it's not really an opposition, it's a setup for a higher position. Now you're at a place of at ease versus dis-ease. Now you're at such an easy place. In this place, what happens? Creation, creative ability, creative thought, things that you couldn't name, now you can name. And next thing you know, your results change. Next thing you know, it seems like everything you touch turns to gold. Now, who would have thought that all of this goes back to your to knowledge? When you study something and you learn about something, it makes you confident. Now, let's do the comparison. Would I rather have knowledge or be ignorant about something? Am I now going to take my time to study it? Or am I not going to study it? And then when I get asked questions, I get into this vibration of worry and doubt and fear happens. No. I'm going to study. I'm going to understand what I study. I'm going to get another faith of confidence about it. And I'm going to get into a state of well-being, a positive vibration that's going to release certain expressions and accelerated things and thoughts and ideas that's going to start manifesting themselves to my desires and wants. And now we are in a position where we're creating things that better the life of ourselves and other people around us. You know, now I know this sounds a little deep to those who haven't heard this yet, but let me tell you something. My wife and I have been blessed to change lives, y'all. For the past 10 years, I'm talking about hundreds, maybe even thousands of people who we come into contact. I'm serious. What we're teaching you now, like I said, this is vault. I got hours and hours of videos on YouTube where we take people through certain lessons, man. We've helped individuals become six-figure and better. And they go on and they're on doing great things right now. They still connect with us and tell us, hey, you know what? Are you going to be doing this and doing that again? So here it is. Here it is. Once you get to a place when you go through everything I just showed you, and you understand that thought is energy, your thoughts become an idea, and ideas cause emotion. Once pressed down, emotion alters the vibration. Vibration is expressed through action, y'all. So then your results change. Guess what else changed? Your conditions, circumstances, and environment change. So it's important to understand that your action causes a reaction, which alters your thought energy. So it becomes cyclical. This is how we say you can put success on autopilot, because once you get through the first piece, once you open the first LLC, then the second one is easy. The third one is easy. Once you start the first business and you get it to a certain amount of money, you now know what it takes to do it. So it's easy to teach it. It becomes even easier when you teach it, because you know what it takes to build a company that's going to get to at least $5,000 a month. Well, guess what? If I want to get to a comfortable place where I'm doing $250,000, $5,000 a month, that's $25K a month, 10 months, that's $250,000. Then all I got to do is all I need to do is duplicate that same business model 5 times, and I'm over $250,000 a year. Actually, it's a little more because I base hours on 10 months instead of 12. Why? Well, in good business, you always got to store up for months where it's not going so good. So if you got 12 months in a year, you can expect at least 2 months of downtime. So you work real hard, save money to cover those down months, and then restart it back. So the same model is when you're in school. Fall semester, summer semester, they out of school in the summer. So fall, you're going to have better numbers. Spring, you'll have better numbers. So you're working for 10 months and you break for 2. Travel, do whatever you're going to do. Now, success through Faith Club. Let me explain something to you all what we've been talking about all day. Our goal is to simply help you become a success and a 6-figure income investor by providing a safe environment for positive mentorship, you all. And you tell us your dream and we're going to show you how to go get it. But once again, the operative word is you tell us, we show you. If you don't tell us, we can't show you. And that means you have to be willing to do the work to go get it. Now, once again, the blueprint has been set, you all. The blueprint is set. Everything you need is right there. We have all the books and everything. I got a whole bunch of books sitting here on my desk. I mean, that we're going to be using. We got things set up. We've been really working the past 2-3 years to get essential leaders back to a place to where we can relaunch it and reoffer it. But that's what this is all about. Okay? So here's what I would like to do. If we don't have, first of all, are there any questions? Because favors, what I would like to do is go ahead. The last session isn't that long because of what the information we just covered. So, but you know what, we did just cover a lot of information. All right, let's open it up for Q&A real quick because we did just cover a lot of information. Go ahead. Any questions, comments, type them in the chat. What you got?
Do we have any questions on the floor?
Any questions? Because if not, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this last session. And like I said, we're gonna get out of here a little early because I didn't realize, we said 10 to 2, but the information just started flowing out of me, man. And 2 hours, we right at 2 hours now. It's 12 o'clock.
No question.
No questions?
No questions.
Okay, so then before we move on, the thing I have now, and by a show of hands, those of you who interested, is there anyone who's interested in joining the Success Club? The Success Club, you all, is the place where that we develop. It's $21 for monthly subscription. And this is where we're going to launch all the programs and things of that nature. The $21 gives you access, ladies and gentlemen, to the books that we're reading, to the information, to the things, a lot of things like this. But most importantly, it connects you with other thought leaders so you can have a positive network, and you get to ask the questions so you get the answers. In other words, if you don't know the value of having people that you can ask, or let me tell you, if you don't have millionaires in your phone that you can call and ask business questions to, then you will realize how valuable it is to have that. And so we set that up. We put this thing together because we also have some of our mentors, family, people that we deal with, who's going to be making cameos and coming on to share with that group. So if you're interested, then all you got to do is, I need to go back a slide. Let me see if I can go back a slide. Yep. Go to MikeFavors.com, hit the slide, go to MikeFavors.com and hit the Success Club, and you can join for $21. And then once you join, you will get an email and it'll prompt you to join the group. When we see your name, join the group, we'll know that you have submitted $21. And once again, it is an ongoing every month. So that works out to be what? For that piece, $5 a week, $5.25 a week, I think is what that works out to be, for you to have access to the information, what we're doing. And you can just be in the club. Now, we'll offer other programs that is going to walk, other coaching programs, because some of you are going to really want to take a deep dive into this material and learn about this like I did. And so at that point for me, it was a no-brainer, because I really did, at the time when I first started studying, I was having a hard time, you all. Let me share this real quick. Let me get to the next slide. 10 years ago, 12 years ago, when I first started studying this, I was planting a church. And the church started off rough, but we got to a place. But I noticed that we had funds flowing through our ministry, but my wife and I, we were barely making it. And you say, well, how is that so? It's because we were taking all of our money and putting it into the church. And now that's laudable, but it wasn't until I got with a mentor that said, hey, man, you're doing it backwards. You want to make sure your home is good first, and you need to launch this and do this and do that. And he sent me out to talk to a few individuals, actually introduced me to, I believe, two of my first time meeting. No, I had millionaires in Nashville, but I had access, put it like that. This is when I had access to millionaires, personal phone numbers, okay, mentors. And they began to show me a different way and show me how it was that my paradigm was hindering us from making what we do. And once we went past that, you all, things started to change. But at the point, I brought that up to say that we had the weirdest time of making and getting past $4,000 a month, y'all. You know, and when I say $4,000 to $5,000 a month, man, I'm talking about, when I was putting this together, I saw a note in my iPhone from back in the day, 2013, I believe, where our rent was like $1,000 a month. Do y'all hear me? It was very inexpensive in Georgia when we first got there, man. I mean, like, for real. I mean, we had a 1-bedroom apartment in Georgia. We first got there, it was like $700. It was very inexpensive, man. You hear me? And I was like, wow. And we used to manage off $4,000 a month. I couldn't imagine doing that today. I couldn't imagine. Although I'm pretty sure if situations come, but times have changed since then. Anyway, you can barely get a 1-bedroom now for $1,000, $2,000. But anyway, I set out to say this, that it was at that time that I made up my mind that I was going to be a success, that I was going to become rich and wealthy for my family, for my ministry. And that's what I did. I began to go after mentorship. And so I paid more for my personal growth and development than I paid for my master's degree, y'all. And I tell you that this was worth it, because this changed everything for me. It even helped me become a better pastor, helped me become a better leader. Okay, so I just wanted to share that. So go to MikeFavors.com, you all. Subscribe to that, $21 a month. No problem. We got investments. We got certain things that we're also going to show over in that platform. Okay. So with that being said, let's get to this last piece. Hey, you all know what it is. The success you're looking for is going to happen during the process of your growing, because growing is a constant repetition of motion. And by now, I think we know that. So let me just say this here. Read this. This is a slide that I found, you all, that I thought was very interesting. And hopefully you can see that. Take a screenshot of that. 80% of CEOs said they received some form. You see it? A mentorship. You can see it right there. 80% said they received some form of mentorship. 93% of startups admit that mentorship was instrumental to their success. Okay, so we can see that rich and wealthy people, you all, are really strong and rooted in mentoring and mentorship, because they understand that sooner or later you realize that in order for you to get to that certain level, you're going to have to stand on someone's shoulders. And to be honest with you, those of us who have did what it costs to do to get to a certain place, we want to help other people. That's the weird thing about it. You should see how many times Warren Buffett is meeting with athletes like LeBron James and Ray Dalio, meeting with guys like Sean Combs, and these guys are being mentored. You got athletes being mentored by economists, hedge fund guys, because they realize that, hey, we're not getting taught this in school. We're not getting taught this in college. But we got all access to all these hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars and don't know what to do with it. I'm gonna tell you something. They own to something, okay? So let's get to it. Let's get to it, you all. One of the things that we got to understand, or I want you to realize, is about procrastination. And procrastination is the opposite of decision, okay? You will have an opportunity to test your capacity quick in terms of making decisions and things of that nature. So when you understand, you all, that this is one of the most important things that you got to realize is procrastination. In order for you to realize and make decisions, you all, you got to get to a point where you stop procrastinating, which means to put something off until later on. No, you want to get to the point where you do it now, because procrastination is the opposite of decision making. And you're going to realize that wealthy people have a habit of reaching decisions quickly and changing them slow. Whereas poverty people, they tend to make decisions slow and change them quick. That is a skill set. Read that. Analysis of several hundred people have acquired fortunes well beyond the $1 million mark disclosed that they had a habit of making decisions promptly and of changing those decisions slowly. So we got to talk about the process of decision making. And in order to do that, you all, here's what I want you to understand, that we think on frequencies. This is the last session. And I want you all to please catch this. This is one of the most important sessions. So those who are sticking around, y'all getting ready to get something, we'll be done. We think on levels of frequency. So look at these lines that you see here. These are frequency lines, you all. And your results, it's important to realize that the results that you want are based upon your thoughts on that particular frequency. So right now, you're at the bottom of this channel. You see the word results? You see your thoughts right there, and you see your thought, you're having all these thoughts, and your thoughts are right here on this level. But now here's what I want you to realize. Where you are right now is not where you want to be, okay? Where you want to be is up there on the level or the frequency where your goal is. And that's understandable. So we're at a point now where we have to make some decisions, and we got to start making them decisions fast. The thing I love about Napoleon Hill is this. Napoleon Hill was meeting with Andrew Carnegie many years ago. And at the time before he wrote this book, Andrew Carnegie was considered the richest man in the world. And Napoleon Hill went to him and asked him some questions. And he wanted like an hour, but it turned into 2 or 3 days. And at the end of it, Andrew Carnegie, unbeknownst to Napoleon Hill, he had one of these. This is why I keep this minute. He had a sand glass, right? And he turned it over up under his desk. Some say he had a stopwatch, an hourglass, a 15-minute or whatever. But the motive of the story is this right here. He turned it over and asked him a question. He said, Napoleon, will you commit to the rest of your life to doing this work? Because these principles that I've been sharing with you, the world needs them. And he was giving him 30 seconds or 60 seconds. Within about 20 seconds, he said yes. Now, he didn't realize, but later on, Napoleon Hill went back and said that my life had 60 seconds to change for the best or the worst. A lot of times, 60 seconds is all you get to make a decision that's going to be life-changing. 60 seconds to make a decision. Am I going to go? Am I going to stay? Am I going to do it? Am I not? Am I going to progress? Or am I going to stay the same? 60 seconds, y'all. 60 seconds worth of distance run. If you can keep your head about you. Rudyard Kipling wrote a wonderful poem about this thing. In 60 seconds, gone. An opportunity, an idea, like a whisper. 60 seconds. We call it elevator pitch. I had to perfect my elevator pitch, not from 30 minutes, not from 3, not to 3. 60-second elevator pitch, ladies and gentlemen. You got to be able to convince somebody that you're a good bet, that your company is a good company to invest in. 60 seconds. You want to get to certain levels of success, you got to jump off the paper. What's different? Because you got several other applicants trying to get the same job. What's different about you? You need to impress them in the first 60 seconds of the meeting. So, with that being said, results. You thinking down here, your goals up there, what you got to do? You have to make a decision that you're going to get up there. Remember what we said earlier, you all. A mindset shift happens when you have a made-up mind. If my goal then is to do 60K, that's just a standing example now. My goal is to do 60,000 a month. That's just an example. My goal is higher than that now, but here we are. 60,000 a month. Then what do I need to do to get up there? Man, let's make it even practically simple. If your goal is to get to 10K a month, that's what we're promising, that we can help you get to 10K. Once you get to 10K, everything else is easy because you just duplicate it 3, 4, 5 more times and you're where you want to be. But you have to make a decision. Those of you all who don't even know right now, you should have made a decision already if you're going to join the club because the information we're giving is that invaluable. I got to be in this club. Whatever program that they got, I got to get into it. I don't care how much it costs. I'll raise that, but I do know that in order for me to get successful, in order for me to become the person sitting on the other side of the screen, I got to see what's going on. So what happens? Right now, your mind and your thoughts are down here. No matter where you are, if you're already doing 10K a month, then you need to up it to 20K a month. If you're doing 20, up it to 30. It doesn't matter. We can help you get to that next level. Here's where your thoughts and stuff needs where you want to be. So once again, now you make the decision. Then you start visualizing yourself on the frequency of that goal. And that's the key to the law of attraction. You can't attract to you what you are not in harmony with, y'all. Now, you know, that's the good book. That's the Bible. Two can't walk together unless they be in agreement. Success wants to walk together with other successes, but they have to be in agreement. So here we are. I'm getting done. So what happens? In order for you to do this, now it's getting ready to compound. You cannot just have a decision and a made up mind. You got to make a commitment. So it has to be a committed decision and a committed made up mind. I'm committed. Nothing, it's done. It has to happen. It's going to happen. And I'm going to do everything in my power according to my self-confidence in that formula that I made up that I'm going to do it. That means any and everything around me has to be on the same page. So watch this. If you in the house with a woman and she done made up her mind, she's going to affect everything in that house. If you're in a house with a man who has a made up mind, he is going to affect everything in that house because everything has to come into alignment with the visions and the goals and the decisions that have been made. And we all got to come into agreement. It can't be any discord because if it's discord, you're not in agreement and therefore you'll throw the vibration off. So once again, That's it, you all. I've done this in 2.5 hours, which is pretty good. Success Through Faith Club. Once again, you all, our goal is to simply help you become success and get to 6-figure investors. I'm telling you now, we can do it. And the question is, are you ready to share your dream so we can show you how to go get it? I want to thank you all, everybody who's on YouTube. Y'all please share it. Give me some thumbs up. Like the piece, y'all. Please like this, share this out and everything like that. And so what we're getting ready to do now, I'm going to say thank you once again. I'm going to put links down in the YouTube session. I'll have Junior, somebody put them down there for the Success Club. We also got some things like that, but everything will be launched through the Success Club. It's only $21, like I said, a month. You can do that, but that will give you access to the investments that we're in. We got a couple of investments in. We got other business models that we have. Some of you all say, I want to be an author. Well, we got a class, the course that I'm working on that's going to show you how to diagram a book and even self-publish your own book. So now you become an expert in that field. Yo, we got multiple streams of income because that, I've said too much. That's club talk. All right. So I got to cut it short. Anyway, this was a plum pleasing pleasure for me. I appreciate all of you all. You know what? There's my mouse. Look at that. I just saw the arrow. I've been looking for that all day. Anyway, all right. So anyway, y'all, it's been a pleasure sharing with you all. My hope and desire that you got something from this, you all. And with that being said, this is Mike Favors, you all, and I'm going to sign off now. And hopefully you all can get some. I look forward to working with all of you all. Until next time, success.